This is Kamera. Points in the Bible, day number 99, 2 Samuel chapter 16 through 18. David is on the run, and you're going to see that people would come, give him things, and not everybody who came to him was nice. He ran into some cruel people as well. But you'll notice that, or can correlate that for when people are going through, you have people who will come and show some love, like with David. So let's start with Ziba. Ziba is a servant of Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth is the son of Jonathan, grandson of Saul. And Ziba brings he brings food, he brings wine, he brings donkeys. And David asks, well, where's Mephibosheth? Well, Ziba tells him that Mephibosheth is staying back and hopes to restore his grandfather's kingdom. Yeah, David tells Ziba that all that Mephibosheth owns is now his. Yeah, Mephibosheth, right? How about there's a person named Shimei? Shimei, he is not showing any love. He's actually throwing curses and stones at David and his followers, the people who are with him. And, you had David's men there as well. So you had Abishai who was like, he wanted to hurt him. But David was like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. If God allowed him to do it, then let him go ahead and do it. Let him go ahead and do it. Maybe that's part of what God wanted to happen to him. So he backs up. And this man is just shooting curses that David deserved what he's getting. He's a murderer. Yeah. Meanwhile, you have Absalom. He's now made it to Jerusalem. And he has, remember, David's advisor Ahithophel, who basically betrayed David to be with Absalom. David actually prayed that Ahithophel actually gives bad counsel to Absalom. Yes, he did. He prayed that. And so you have the men of Israel who came as well to Jerusalem. And you had Hushai. Remember, Hushai is David's confidant who David sent back to basically be a spy. Anyway, you have where Absalom was like, wait, he questioned him. He questioned the loyalty that he had for his father. And so Hushai was like, listen, I'm going to be your advisor just like I was your father's advisor. And whoever God has placed as king and the people have placed as king, that's who I'm going to advise. So, yeah, that's why he's with Absalom. He tells Absalom. Then Absalom asks Ahithophel for, what's our next move? Ahithophel tells Absalom to go and sleep with David's concubines. Remember, David had left his concubines to look after the palace. And so, yeah, he thinks that's a great idea. And Absalom goes on the roof and sleep with all of David's concubines. Yeah, so far, the points that we have is when we're going through, we're going to meet good and evil. God still wants us to be righteous. David was still righteous through it all. He wasn't angry. He didn't spit insults. He didn't retaliate. And there were some good people who would come and meet and show David some love. Second of all, you'll see that God is allowing this bad stuff to happen too. Don't forget that. And I believe that comes from, remember when David had sinned and caused Uriah to be killed for his wife? Yeah, this is one of those things. Everything that's been bad happening to David with his sons, even with Absalom, yeah, as a result of with David. And, Nathan had told David that his wife is going to be, that another man's going to be sleeping with his wives, and that whatever he did was in the dark, and what God's going to expose will be in the light. And yes, Absalom slept with all the concubines. And after Ahithophel's point was that people will see that you disrespect your father, and there's no more coming back to that. And that way people will now, there's no reconciliation between your dad after you do something like that. And so people will start following you. That was his point. That was his whole, So Ahithophel, he advises um, Absalom to send troops to David, basically ambush David. And so it sounded good to Absalom. It sounded good to the men of Israel. But then he wanted to ask Hushai if that was a good idea. Well, Hushai said that is not a good idea because David men are warriors, experienced, skilled warriors. That would not be a good idea because once they start slaughtering people, then it were to get back that David and his men slaughtered them, and it has put fear in the most fearless men. And so he counters him with a different plan on getting to David. And get this, Absalom and the Israel rulers, they liked Hushai's uh, advisement. And Ahithophel, he didn't take that well. He saw that they weren't going to take his advice. He went and put his house in order, and he hung himself. Yes, he hung himself. Meanwhile, you had Hushai go and tell Zadok and Abiathar what was going to happen with David. And you had Zadok and Abiathar go and tell their sons to get word to David. They were the ones who were told to go to David and tell him anything that is happening. So, yeah, they were the runners. And so David, he put everybody, he mustered up his army, and David wanted to go out there with them, but they talked him out of that. No, you're worth 10,000 of us. No, you stay back. And so how about still during David's travel on his run? He had a warm greeting from Shobai, who was one of Nahash's sons. Remember, the other son of Nahash, he didn't accept David's love, but this one right here, he actually showed love to David. Him and like two other people, Barzillai, they showed love to David. They brought him them sleeping mats and cooking pots and serving bowls and food. And yeah, they showed love. I mean, he really received love from a lot of people. And so get this, the battle. David says, when you guys go against them, please be kind to my son Absalom. Yeah, he wanted his son back to him. Don't forget, guys. I mean, our children, when our problem children, a lot of times it's hard for us because we're feeling guilty. And so we're more forgiving than the next person. Get this, Absalom during the battle, remember his hair is very long and thick. He gets caught in a branch and he's dangling because his donkey or his mule left him dangling. And so there was one of David's men that went to Joab and said, listen, I saw Absalom hanging from a tree. Joab would go off on this man and say, you should have killed him. I would have given you a reward for killing him. This man was like, we all heard what David said, be kind to Absalom. He wanted Absalom. And David would have found out if I would killed his son, you'd have been the first one to turn on me. I wouldn't kill him for 1,000 pieces of silver. And so Joab goes, and he actually stabs Absalom in the chest with 3 swords. Three swords. And then Joab's young armor bearers, they finish Absalom off. David gets word of it and he mourns. Isn't that something? He's mourning over the son that tried to kill him, the son who betrayed him. So there is a lot here. Joab, he probably was not happy the way Absalom went about overtaking the kingdom after he was the one who spoke up for Absalom to be brought back. So he probably felt betrayed as well and felt like Absalom needed to be taken care of. He totally disrespected what the king had told him to do. So there are a few points here, guys. If you have any you'd like to share, please place them in the comments area. That's points in the Bible. Day number 99, 2 Samuel chapter 16 through chapter 18. You have a God-filled blessed day.